If I was an IFA, this is how I would be using video in 2026. In an IFA business, it's all about relationships and it's all about building trust, right? Ultimately, most of the time, people are going with IFAs is because they already know you, they already trust you, they like what they do. Because of the nature of your industry, it's quite hard to be promising returns and things like that. So it always comes down to relationship. And I think video as part of that is really, really important. So first of all, I think you've got is trust, right? Trust at the heart of your business is really, really important. And if you have a cold inquiry that comes in, how do you build trust as quickly as possible with that cold inquiry when they get in touch using video? So first of all, one of my favorite places to do it is right away in our Who Am I? Meet the Team introduction to yourself. So in your email signature, you should 100% have put a face to a name video, right? A small little intro video. It's maybe a minute long. It's you sat in front of a camera saying, hey, my name is X. This is my business. This is how we were established. This is what we do. It's very informal. It's not your life story. You maybe say you've got kids and you've got a dog called Bella. You know, you give a little bit of detail and you kind of humanize yourself. But the whole point of it is just to introduce your face to the person that's inquired. The second way I would be doing it is after that initial conversation, you then want to be thinking about like, how can you add more to the conversation before that person's maybe coming in to speak to you or something like that? So you've maybe got like a little bit more of an in deeper dive or something like how clients like to work with us or an option that just kind of gives you the ability to showcase a little bit what's different about you, right? Because the likelihood is if they don't have an IFA at all at this point, they're going to go to a few different people and they're kind of finding out who do they like and who do they not like. So at this point, you're trying to wow them, right? You're trying to have something that stands out. So, maybe our process video would be a really cool video to send to them. So, you've maybe had an intro, they're going to come in for a meeting. And before that meeting, you send them a little video that just says, hey, this is our process. This is how we tend to work with people and how we go about the process of it. And again, it's your face, it's your business, you're the one talking you're the person that's going to meet them. So that's another really easy video that you can create straight off the bat. And then next as part of that journey, they come in for a meeting, they have a great time, you serve them a great coffee, they really enjoy it. You've then maybe got a testimonial piece, right? You've then maybe got somebody sharing a little bit about how they like working with you, what the journey's been like, and that's as part of the follow-up. So meeting goes well, they come in, have that conversation, you're then sending them a little bit more info that's probably a little bit more jargon-filled, a little bit more, stuff that you have to as part of all of this. And at the bottom you just say, hey, look, here's a video of someone like you in your sphere, maybe in your age group or in your life situation with kids, no kids. You can send them a very little personalized testimonial of somebody else sharing the same thing. Again, they open it, they go, right, this person's saying really nice things about that person that I just met, and it continues to build trust. Then let's say you're now a little bit further down the journey. They're deciding that they're going to start working with you. And at that point, I know there's a whole bunch of other stuff you have to send them that's like really jargony and really complicated and really full. So why not create a nice video that just goes into depth about explaining what all of that stuff means? So, there's maybe a contract that comes with it or certain T's and C's they have to agree to, all of that. Why not put together almost a little explainer video which talks in depth about that document that you've sent, or even a way to read it or a way to kind of view it, a way to understand it and break it down. And again, it just kind of humanizes the situation and also then explains something that I'm sure you probably found with a lot of your clients is actually quite a complicated thing, which they're really, to receive a document like that is quite full on. So to be able to have a really nice kind of personable, what feels like personal walkthrough is super helpful. And then once they've signed up, they've become a client, you're managing them, you're doing all the great stuff, updates. I think that's one of the big things that I think a lot of people miss. We always think about the journey to try and sign a client, but you'll know like signing a new client is way more expensive than just keeping a current one. So now they like you, now they trust you. How are you continuing to cement that relationship? Because, they're depending on the client, they might not be getting in touch with you every month asking how things are going. They're probably not doing that, although some of them probably are. But, most of them probably aren't. Most of them are fairly passive. They trust you, they like you. But how great is it to be proactive in the communication with those clients by sending them updates? And these updates might be generic, by the way. They might not be specific to their account or their finances, but general market updates that you can send across the board to all of your clients. And I guess the final piece of this puzzle is thinking about then, there's not just you, right? Let's call yourself Alan, right? In the center of all of this. There's not just Alan who owns the firm and all of that. You've got great people around you who are going to have touch points with your customers as well. So for me, it's saying, how are you building content around your team that also helps build trust? Because at the end of the day, you don't always want these clients coming to you every time, right? Ideally, you want them coming to your team and building relationships with them so that they trust them, so that they can give their answers. So although it might not be appropriate for everyone in your team to be doing this, how are you building that system in it for your team to say, well, do you know what? Actually, say you're going to change a process and you need to give an update of a new process you're changing. That doesn't have to be Alan. That can be one of your team that can go and do that. And by building that trust and those relationships with other people in your team is going to free up loads of time and allow you to be able to focus on the stuff that you need to focus on. So if you're an IFA and you're interested in how you can take video in your business to the next level and how you can really leverage that trust play, then Umor and I would love to chat in depth about that with you. So if you want to get in touch, then send us a message, and I hope that was helpful.